Okay. So Smart Assemblies you can find under Tools for Revit document tab. And actually, it's kind of simple product because there are default configurations already. It's actually ready and it comes together with a product. But first, I would like to explain why we have created this product. You know that when you want to prepare ship drawings, you have to create assembly, and usually you have to select or you have to just filter all elements that should be included. Press on assemblies, and here you have to create those views. Now.
Yep.
With those views, you have to actually do a lot of work because you have to add dimensions and prepare the title blocks and the sheets and the schedules and so on. Also, if you do that manually, you have to select those all nested or hosted elements. So that takes really a long time. Here, you just need to select the wall. I mean, not even a wall. It can be any main element. It could be a wall, floor, column, beam, or any generic model element. You just have to select, like we call it like main element, and then press on Create Assemblies. Now there are configurations, the list of configurations, how assembly should be created. Actually, the default configuration will be always here, and later you can modify that, and later you can save that under your name. But I will show you from the beginning, and I will show you how it will look like with default configuration. So right now, this is only one element selected, so right now we will have only one assembly, and there are also additional nodes that with the categories where the tool will work, and also mandatory condition, every main element has to have mark value. So if I select the wall has to have mark values.
Okay.
Because after creating assembly, assembly name will be the same as mark value. So if I select the wall, it has to be, as you see here, this is the mark value. So assembly name right now will be the value of the mark. And now we can check results.
Yeah.
So hosted and nested elements will be automatically added to assembly, and it will be automatically dimensioned. We can check those views like the left side, the top side view, section, its material takeoff, the part list, and the sheet. Let's say right now we are not satisfied really with that dimensions. We want to modify them. Maybe we want to join them together into one chain, or we want to change the type of dimension. So we can go into shop drawing configurations. This is the dialog with all that configuration settings. So this is our configuration that we used before. And here you can see the list of views that we are going to create, that are created, and actually that should be created according to this configuration. So as you see, you can create additional any views wherever you want. You can create 3D views or different sections, legends, front views, and so on. You can assign view names. Then you can assign a view template for every view. The list of view templates comes from your current project. So this is regular view templates. And you can create your own view template, and you can assign that for every view. And then dimensioning rules. Dimensioning rules, here you can edit those dimensioning rules. And this is separate dialog with those dimensioning rules. And here, this dialog, actually, it's kind of easy to understand because every tab has different screenshots and examples. So, and also dimensions, all those dimensions, they're grouped together according to according to settings. For example, main element geometry. So here you can find all dimensions that goes for the main element, like a wall, floor, a beam, column, foundation, parts, or for the generic models. So here you can select, for example, if you want to include back elements in the view, or you want to skip them, you want to add dimensions on the side element. For example, if you have some openings in the top or in the left side or in the right side of the wall, for example. Then the list with the dimensioning styles. So here you can choose what dimensioning style you're going to use for the common dimensions or for the totals. Then there are separate dimensioning settings for non-standard cuts and for standard cuts. So the standard cut is rectangular cut, and non-standard cut is not rectangular cut. So this is, for example, in my case, I will write this. So for example, this is a standard cut, and this one is not standard cut. Yeah, and there are different, again, different settings for standards and for non-standard cuts. And then separate the settings for openings. And right now we are going to say that we would like to join dimensions into one chain for all openings that are created in the wall or floor. And also separate tab if you want to split dimensions on the equal segments. For example, if you have such example, you can join that dimension into one value. Then there are separate settings for metal details and for hosted concrete details. Actually, it could be what we say. I mean, what element is hosted metal or hosted concrete? It can be any kind of family. Just the main conditions is that this family has to be a structural framing or structural connection category. It has to be phase-based, and material behavior in the family has to be steel or concrete. Yeah, so that's the main conditions. But still, the geometry can be different geometry. I mean, and you can create your own families and whatever you want. Just you have to focus on those three conditions. Possible categories, structural framings, and structural connections. It has to be phase-based, and material behavior has to be steel or concrete. Actually, right now, those two categories are supported, but we can open also. Actually, right now, our users, they are satisfied with those two categories, but actually in the future we have plans to open more categories, and we will see according to and we will think according to our clients' requests, you know. So also, if you see that maybe some categories additionally has to be included, so just let me know, and we will think about this.
Okay, now, sorry, I missed the last part, but if we add subcategories, is that, like subcategories to structural framing, would that work?
Yes, but what kind of subcategories you have? Well,
for example, when I do embeds, because I do 3D embeds as well, like plates and all that, I don't do them under structural connections because the structural connection doesn't have a hidden line category, subcategory, so it doesn't show when it's behind an object.
Yeah.
So I do it as a structural framing, but I also don't want to have it in the same category as all of the framing. I do a subcategory called embedded plates.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And that would fall under the structural framing category, but it's subcategory.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that you should try to work with the smart assemblies. You should try to see the result, and if there will be problems, just let me know, and I will. Or it would be even better just to have that kind of family as an example, and we will discuss with programmers what to do. Okay. because for us it's not a problem to open additional categories. In general, I mean, in general, yeah, it's not a problem.
Okay, I think just opening up subcategories within those two would probably suffice, but it just it's a matter of you know, just being able to read that, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. So just try existing installation, and if you see that it's not working, just send me the family, and we will include that into the program.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, yeah. So maybe later I will come back into those tabs.
You know,
Yeah?
you know, one thing that would be good, if I guess if you're able to add subcategories, maybe if you had as part of your interface, like to add the subcategory to
select from the list, right?
Like, yeah, like if you could put it as part of your interface, because otherwise, if we ever wanted to create like 3 or 4 different subcategories, we would have to call you to do that every time. So that would be probably not a good, not the ideal situation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, we will think about this. Yes, we will think. Okay. Then there's a separate tab for the rebar bars, and here you can find command dimensionings in the view. Also dimensioning rules, where exactly you want to distribute those dimensions. Then parallel bar sets, also separate tab. Also, if it's necessary to put dimensions on a single bar, and also additional possibility to split dimensions on equal segments. Then one more group of dimensions for just for the cases if you want to switch off some dimensions. You can save also that configuration for the future, and actually you can maybe if you want you can switch off rebar or some holes or some non-standard cuts if it's necessary. So here you can see the list of dimensions that will be added, and you can switch off some not necessary dimensions. Also, you can add them, and you can show the priority, the order of dimensions. You can change the order of dimensions. So right now, in our case, in the first chain, we will see the openings. Then in the second, standard cuts, then non-standard cuts, then holes, hosted elements, rebars, and so on. And the totals in the end. So here you can change the order. Also, you can assign a name for every dimension chain, because that name can be added as a text note additionally, as you saw in my case, like here. As you see, if it's necessary, you can add such text notes. So this is the name that comes from configuration. So that's the name here.
Okay.
So also here in the dialog, you can show exactly how that text, you can add the formula how that text should be created. So for example, like here in the beginning you will get the quantity of elements, then the name of dimension chain, and then maybe some description additionally. So description can be, for example, for the hosted elements, the description can be, for example, the type name of the hosted element. So also it could be an option, because here this is the description.
Okay.
And node positioning. So here you can assign, or if you want to see or do not want to see those text notes additionally. So if you want, you can switch them off if necessary, or you can add them. So that configuration settings you can save for your future projects, and you can save it here. So, and here you can select that configuration you want to assign for every view.
Okay.
Also, if it's necessary, you can add tags additionally on your hosted or nested elements.
Okay.
Also, a separate tab for the schedules. This is actually a new feature because in the previous version, all those schedules and sheets were included in the same list. Here, right now, the schedules and the sheets are separated in separate tabs.
Okay.
Now, for the schedules, you can select 3 types of schedules. So it can be material takeoff, a part list, and irregular schedule. Because the material, the part list, it goes for all categories. Because as you see, maybe I will close the dialog, and if I go into the schedule here, as you see here I have the part list, and the part list is created for the multiple categories. It means here you will get the list of all categories that was included into the assembly. So here you can see the wall and 2 structural framing elements. So now here what we can do, actually, with configuration settings, with their schedules, you can assign regular schedule. So it could be any schedule, for example, a separate additional schedule for the rebar, or a separate schedule for hosted elements, or for nested elements, So usually the part list goes for all elements that are included into assembly, and the regular schedule goes for one category, right? So the part list go for all categories that included into assembly, and regular schedule goes for one category. And now you can also change the names here of those schedules, and here we can assign schedule template. A schedule template, it's a regular schedule that comes from the project. As you see here I have created material takeoff with 4 columns, like a mark, type, material name, and volume, and the part list with the category, family, and type, and the count. So you can create your own tables, your own schedules, and later you can assign that those schedules will work as a template for the future schedules in every assembly.
Okay.
So now if we do some changes here, and if we save this dialog, we can update this assembly. So I can select it from the project or from any view, and just press on update assembly. So as you see, in the front view, dimension chains were combined together into one chain. Right now we have here 2 openings, right? Because we did that in our configuration, and also dimension for the totals, dimension type was changed for the totals. And also let's check schedule. So as you see, right now the schedule was changed according to the schedule that we used, we have created before in the project, and the same with the part list. So it's a little bit changed. You see the counts they're grouped together, and yeah, so it works according to schedule that we have in the project. And now we have a sheet. So we can add views into the sheet. So this scenario we have to do just for one sheet, just for in the beginning. For example, I will add material takeoff here, and the part list maybe somewhere here. So now when the first sheet is created, we can go back into configuration settings, into the Sheets tab, And here also you can create additional sheets. I mean, sometimes for one assembly, we can, if we want, we can create several sheets if needed. Right now this is only one sheet, but we can say that this sheet will be used as a template for our future sheets. Okay, so right now the tool will look into those views that were added into the sheet, and the tool will do the same things for other assemblies. So now let's close the dialog, let's save that configuration, and let's go back into the project. So if I select this wall and if I create assembly according to this configuration, so now we can go just directly into the sheet. And that's it. You see, the tool created those views automatically according to our wishes, according to our configuration, and the tool added those views into the sheets exactly into the same place as it was requested in my previous sheet.
Okay. Now, can I ask you a question? Like we would do shop drawings because we do a lot of tilt-up panels and stuff, and if we do shop drawings and we needed to have, for example, the elevation of the wall duplicated, you know, twice, so that we would have an outline, like so we could dimension the outline on its own, and then dimension all the embeds, and then show the rebar in 3 separate views.
Okay. Okay. So okay, let's do such example here in my project. Wait a second, I will find that. Yeah, for example, like this one, this wall is also with rebar. So what we're going to do, let's say here we will create one view for the rebar, then separate the front view, maybe 2 front views, right? No, it will be 3 front views. So for example, one view with rebar, one view with with all elements, and another one with maybe elevations or additional dimensions, maybe, I don't know. So let's prepare such configuration. Before that, I'm going to view templates, and here I will create a separate view template for the rebar, because in one view we're going to filter only the rebars. Okay, so here I'm going to change the view scale, maybe the discipline, and here in the visibility settings I'm going to switch off all those categories, but I will leave only rebar category. Actually, if you want, you can add additional filters
and walls, right?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it also it can be a wall also.
Because we always show the wall, but we always show the wall, but in one picture in one elevation we'll dimension the actual wall and the openings. On the next elevation we would basically dimension all of the embedded plates, all the steel that connectors that were in the panel, and in the next view we would show the rebar.
Okay, okay. So here we have prepared one. Yeah, okay. So here we have one view template. Now let's create another one. It will be just a wall plus hosted or nested elements, right? Okay. So here I'm going to switch on. Let's switch on maybe all categories. But we will switch off the rebar. Yeah, and one more is just a wall with openings, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically the geometry of the wall, then all the hosted elements, and then all the rebar. So three different.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's already here some wall.
Call it wall geometry or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so here we're going to leave only walls.
Yep.
Okay. So now let's go into configuration settings. And here I'm going to add one more front view. And we're going to change the name, so it will be with Rebar. And we're going to assign a view template. And maybe the same dimensioning rules. But I don't know yet. Maybe we will change that later. And the next one, also it will be the front view, just with the wall. And here we're going to assign just wall geometry and dimensioning nodes. Dimensioning rules. And this one front view, we will assign a view template with the hosted elements. Okay, if it's necessary, we can change this order, but okay, so let's save it. Let's save under the. We can actually use the same name, but also we can create our own new name if it's necessary.
Okay.
So now let's try to create assembly for such a wall. Okay, and now let's check those views. So yeah, so this is the front view, then this is only for the wall, and this is only for the rebar.
Perfect.
Yeah, just maybe for, also we can create additional schedule for the rebar, because I'm going to configuration now, and let's go into the schedules, and here I'm going to create a schedule for the rebar, because as you see here in my project I have a separate schedule for the rebars. And now let's assign this schedule as a template for assembly. So let's save this and let's update this assembly. Okay, and yeah, I don't see this one here. Wait a second, let's check it again. Yeah, it's rebar schedule, so it should be created. Yeah, I know this is the version that is not really tested very well, so maybe it could be some problems, but wait a second, I will try disassembly this one.
Maybe you need to create the assembly.
No, just I'm going to check with. Actually, it should work, because with your existing installation, it should work. I mean, it's really working with your existing installation. Right now, I have the new version, so that's not really. Yeah. So as you see here, so we have all those views, and then we have a material takeoff, then the part list, and then separate schedule for the rebar. That is included into current assembly.
Wow. I have to say I'm impressed.
Yeah. So
I think I can definitely make use of a tool like this.
yeah, so for example, the same if we have such different complex walls with different hosted or nested elements. This is an example from our one customer from Australia. So let's try to create assemblies for such wall, and let's see the results. Actually, right now I'm creating those walls one by one, but I will show you next the method for how it can be created easily. Yeah, so it's working, and we have all those views here. Right now, if I'm coming back actually into the project, I can show you one more method. Actually, you can select the elements from the project, but also if nothing is selected in the project, you can go just directly to create assemblies, and the tool will show you the list of categories that could be included into assembly, and the categories that are already used in the current project. If I select the walls category, here I will get the list with all walls that are created in my current project and that are already assembled, you know. So with the green row, you will see that this wall is already assembled and it's included into assembly, and everything is okay with that wall. And for example, this wall is also already included, but it should be updated because we did changes in our configuration, you know. And here you will be able to see the day and time when assembly was created and configuration name that was assigned to that wall. So it will be like a report for you and for better understanding what is the situation with all walls, floors, or columns, for example. And in this list, it will be very easy to filter elements from the model. Let's say you will be able to filter according to the levels or any other parameter. Also, you can make filter with right-click menu here. And if you want to create assemblies for different elements, you can select them from the list. For example, right now I have selected 3 walls, and we can just press on Create Assemblies. And that's it. The tool will make assemblies automatically for those 3 walls, and you will not need to select them one by one from the project.
Okay.
So here, as you see, you can select configuration and just press on Create Assemblies. And the tool right now is creating, so it's the second one, and then it should be the third one. And as you see, every element has to have mark values, because if there will be no mark value, the tool will show you that cell in red color. Okay, so that's it. All those rows are green, so everything is okay, and we can check them. So, in such way, you can work with different categories. So also, if let's say if we have some columns, I can select, for example, such column. As you see, it has different hosted or also nested elements. It doesn't matter. Actually, we can create, and we can do that for the columns. Yeah, we can find it here. The same, it will work for foundations or for the floors, for generic models. It doesn't matter. I want to show one more example For example, this is a wall from one of our clients, and they did such panels as generic models because
Okay.
there are different things why they need it, but still they decided that they need to create that as generic model category. So also the tool will work with that category. Just when you edit the family, when you're creating the family, it has to be can host rebar. You know, this one should be selected in the properties. So now I'm loading this family to the project. Yeah, so it's mandatory condition. This generic model family should be selected. It should be selected parameter can host rebar. And then we can press create assemblies. And here I want to show one more example with dimensions. Okay, let's check this one. And let's check the front view. As you see here, in this view, one host nested family is dimensioned through the center, and another one dimension is added into the width into the size of the family. Yeah. So it depends on how the families are created. So this is the trick in the family. As you see, in this family we added model lines. So if I edit this family, there are model lines included in the family. And when we have configuration, there is additional setting in dimensioning rules. If we go into the metal details or concrete details, it doesn't matter, but there is a setting, lines in geometry is priority. So if the tool will find any model lines in geometry, then the tool will add dimensions only to that model lines, and that's it. If there are no lines in the family, then the tool will add dimensions only on the totals. I mean, on the total sizes of families. But also you can switch that off, and then the tool will add dimensions on every edge of the hosted or nested element. You know?
Now, do the lines need to be turned on or off? Can you have the lines in the family by having them turned off and get the dimension?
Yes, it could be turned off. Yes, you can turn them off in the 3D view or maybe front view, for example, if you want.
But then the dimensions will be turned off if that's the case, right?
No, as you see in my case, in my front view, second I will show you. Yeah, as you see, in our front view, we can't see those model lines. But still dimension is added into the center of that element.
Okay.
You see, so it can be switched off. I mean, the visibility can be different of those model lines. And the tool is trying to find those model lines in the family, and the tool adds dimensions.
No, I really like this. I really like this tool. This is really good.
Yeah, we're really glad to hear, because right now we have released this tool maybe 2 months ago, and yeah, it's really right now we got a lot of a lot of feedbacks from our clients, and they are really happy with this product.
Yeah, no, I can see it can be put to good use anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I think that's it, what I wanted to say about Smart Assemblies. It's really kind of easy product. Just you have to prepare that workshop drawing configurations. Also, I want to say that that configuration will be saved into separate XML files. And here in the configuration file locations, you can see and you can find that location, and that location can be shared for other users. I mean, you can have common location. Actually, I can show you the how it looks like. I will open that catalog. As you see, the tool creates two folders, dimensioning rules and shop joins configurations. So here in dimensioning rules, you can see those dimensioning rule configurations as we saved and as we did before, and in the separate catalog workshop joins. So it's like a sample shop join configuration, or this is my additionally created configuration, and it's saved in the separate XML files. So you can prepare that files for your company, and also you can share that in the common location. Okay. So I think that's it. Maybe also one more thing is that when you go into update assemblies, here you can see the list only with all assemblies that are created in my current project. So you can just filter and see assemblies for every category, for generic models, for structural columns, or for the walls that are created right now. And still you can change. I mean, you can see that everything is okay with that assembly, or this one should be updated. Also, you can change configuration for that assembly if it's needed. So here you can just do those modifications for some group of assemblies that are already created in the project. And also, every assembly, we are creating additional parameters. For every assembly, the tool will create additional 3 parameters, like assembly created or updated. So this is a day and time. Then configuration name that was used for this assembly. And in the new version, we have created additional parameter like weight. So here we are calculating the real weight of the element. But here, mandatory condition for the weight element has to have materials assigned. Materials has to be assigned to the family, to any element. I mean, a wall or floor, and then the tool will calculate weight.
Okay.
Well, so that's it. I think that I wanted to say today.
Yeah, no, that's excellent.
So I think that maybe tomorrow we will have the final installation, because as you see today, something is not really working correctly. So we will polish it, and we will improve that new version. But still, you can actually try on the existing version right now. But this week, maybe today, or I mean tomorrow or after tomorrow, I will send you a new version.
Sounds good.
Okay, and
sounds very good.
In the case of any questions, just let me know, and we will. And I don't know. Maybe we can do another extra meeting for answering your questions, or I can answer them by email. So also it could be an option.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much, Renata. It's been a pleasure once again.
Okay, so thank you, and let me know if you need some help with this product.
Okay.
Okay.
We will.
Okay, so thank you again for your time, and have a nice day.
Likewise. Take care.
Bye-bye.